The skeleton watch, also known as the skeletonized watch, is a timepiece style that is primarily associated with watches that have mechanical movements. The process of skeletonizing a watch involves opening up the dial and case back and removing some of the large areas of movement parts, thereby revealing the underlying bones. This process can be done minimally or to an extreme level, resulting in a polarizing style that is either loved or hated by enthusiasts of mechanical wristwatches. Despite this, skeleton watches remain a reliable conversation starter. To help continue these conversations, we have compiled a list of some of the best skeleton watches currently available on the market. We'll begin the list with what is perhaps the most Instagrammable and influential member of the skeleton watch category. The Royal Oak Double Balance Openworked, especially in its earlier iterations, has made the skeleton styling popular among the most prestigious Swiss brands. The watch uses the AP caliber 3132 movement, which is based on the well-known AP caliber 3120 and is then skeletonized for maximum light exposure, as well as modified with an additional second balance. The black, slate gray, and gold colors are rich and eye-catching when combined. When worn on the wrist, the watch has a significant presence both visually and in terms of its sheer physical mass, so it feels more like a precious metal piece than its stainless steel counterpart. We start the list with perhaps the most Instagrammable and most influential member of this skeleton watch category. The Royal Oak Double Balance Openworked, particularly in its earlier incarnations, has popularized the skeleton styling among the most prestigious brands in Switzerland. The movement is the AP caliber 3132, which is based on the famous AP caliber 3120 and is then skeletonized for maximum light exposure, as well as modified with the additional second balance. The colors of black, slate gray, and gold together are rich and eye-catching. On the wrist, the watch has a serious presence both visually and by its sheer physical mass, so it wears more like a precious metal piece than its stainless steel counterpart. The Zenith Defy El Primero 21 is a large, lightweight, and sporty watch that represents the zenith of Zenith's Defy 21 collection. The openworked dial showcases classic El Primero chronograph registers as well as a power reserve at 12 o'clock. Additionally, many of the 291 movement parts, such as the barrel and balance assembly, are visible. The case, bracelet, and movement are all finished with sporty touches. The titanium models can be paired with either a rubberized strap or a sporty titanium bracelet, and there is even an 18 rose gold version available. If there is a controversial watch to add to this list, it would be the Accutran SpaceView 2020, but this high-tech timekeeper warrants inclusion because it showcases what a possible future in watchmaking looks like with modern, electrostatic movement technology along with high-level design language and finishing. Prominently displayed via the front sapphire crystal are two electrostatic turbines in the lower half of the dial that spin, a bit like a mechanical rotor, to generate power, which is then transferred to the accumulator located at the 10 o'clock position for storage. The case in which all this interesting technology is made of steel and measures 43.5 millimeters in diameter and 15.9 millimeters thick, with a large domed crystal to make room for the movement and provide enough height to clear the expansive dial. The Hamilton Jazzmaster skeleton has a classic skeleton look with two large cutout areas on the dial. It has dress watch dimensions, making it perfect for everyday office wear. The ADAC07 movement provides an 80-hour power reserve, ensuring that the watch will still be running even after a weekend break. This Hamilton Jazzmaster skeleton is more in line with the classical skeleton look, in which the watchmaker peels back the dial of an existing model and decorates the now visible movement accordingly. With this piece, we have two large cutout areas along the top and bottom halves of the dial and a center section that remains intact. Dress watch dimensions make this a viable everyday office watch, and the 80-hour power reserve of the ADAC07 movement ensures that when you pick it up after a weekend break, it will still be running. The Raymond Weil Freelancer Bronze Skeleton is one of the most revealing watches on this list, as it strips away a good portion of the visible bridges and plates to expose nearly the entire gear train, even going so far as to remove the top of the barrel to display the mainspring inside. A visual highlight of this piece is the balance assembly situated at 6 o'clock, giving it an upscale look provided by the alignment of the Swiss automatic Salida SW 255 inside. This is one of the most engaging and well-appointed fully skeletonized watches in its price category. Inside, the Piaget Polo Skeleton beats the world's thinnest skeletonized automatic movement, the in-house Piaget Caliber 1200S. The ultra-slim movement took 3 years to research and develop, and it features a myriad of different high-end finishes, including circular and satin brush sunburst motifs. To keep the movement thin, the micro rotor is platinum, providing enough mass to power the watch while on the wrist, and it operates at 3 Hz to achieve up to 44 hours of power reserve, as supplied by the highly exposed gear train. An alligator strap is supplied in addition to the steel bracelet, and swapping out each attachment requires no additional tools. The Piaget Polo Skeleton is one of the finest skeleton examples in the haute horlogerie segment, with its impressive style, finishing, and technical wizardry. Vacherin Constantine, a Geneva-based watchmaker, is one of the oldest and most respected in the world. Their overseas Perpetual calendar, ultra-thin skeleton model, is renowned for its exceptional movement finishing and can be purchased in 18K white or 18K pink gold. With an open dial and caseback, you can view the 276 finely finished components that make up the movement. Interestingly, this watch is a good value proposition when compared to similar luxury sport models from contemporaries like Patek Philippe and Audemars Piguet, which are currently being traded at all-time high premiums around the world. The limited edition CartierPrivat Tank Asymétrique is a luxurious take on a 1930s vintage piece, with interesting visual dynamics that are notable even for a skeleton watch. The dial and movement are arranged in a driver's orientation, meaning everything is turned clockwise a quarter rotation so that the 12 and 6 markers are aligned in the case corners. Cartier has removed most of the dial and movement plates of the manual winding Cartier caliber 9623 to reveal almost nothing but the gear train, the hour markers, including a nearly fully exposed balance assembly with the escapement in clear sight. The ProPilot X watch comes in a large titanium case with a matte finish, and it has a 10-day power reserve that is nonlinear. The reserve is supplied by the massive mainspring visible at the top half of the in-house movement, caliber 115. The color palette of the remaining dial and movement is dominated by dark grays and matte silvers. Even the large hands are finished in the same style as the other elements. However, they are treated with a healthy amount of luminous material to provide contrast with the dial. Oris has other skeleton watches scattered throughout its collection, but the ProPilot X is the one to pick up. Arnold and Sunstein Pyramid gets its name from its openwork movement, where the components are arranged from top to bottom instead of in a circular manner, reminiscent of a clock that was popular in the 1830s during the height of the brand's namesake, John Arnold, a British watchmaker. The latest models, introduced in 2023, feature larger cases at 42.5 mm in diameter, available in either rose gold or platinum, and have a stunning blue Vacherin glass disc for the caseback. Time can be read from the small subdial with blued hands and Roman numerals. The pyramid-shaped manually wound movement highlights its unconventional screw balance placed at 12 o'clock, 2 decorated mainspring barrels with dual indicators that display the state of the 90-hour power reserve, and the hand-finished gear train with sunray brushed wheels, snailed barrels, and blued screws. The blue Vacherin disc underpins everything, whose surface occupies a graceful middle ground between opaque and transparent. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Base Watches for more captivating content about the world of horology. And if any of the featured watches caught your eye, be sure to check the links in the description for more information. Stay tuned to Base Watches for future videos where we continue to showcase the best watches from around the world. Until next time, keep ticking and stay stylish with Base Watches. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.